One. And we're live. Hey everybody, how you doing? It's Breia here. This is our last Self-Love Saturday for September. Today I have a very special guest. I am joined by the lovely Whitney Boyd. Say hi, Whitney.
Hi guys.
Whitney is the owner of a restaurant called Karma Nutra, and they do like organic cold pressed juices, and you've now expanded into wraps and bowls as well, right?
Yep.
I've only got a chance to have the juices, and they are all amazing. Y'all know how I am, and I'm lazy, so I don't juice myself because I hate the cleanup, and I lost my favorite juicer. So when I do juice, I do buy, and she doesn't ship to Michigan anymore, unfortunately. But when she first opened, I got a chance to try all her juices, and they were delicious.
Thank you, girl.
I literally loved every single one, and that's so rare because some I'm like, I can't.
Right.
I can't. So if you are in the Atlanta area, make sure you check it out. Where are your locations there? You can say.
So we got one in College Park, and we have another that it just opened up in Kennesaw. So most of the people in the Atlanta area frequent the College Park one because that's pretty much about 10 minutes from the airport. So and then that one too is the more established one. But yeah, we got the one in College Park and one in Kennesaw, and both of those locations are on my website.
Okay, I'm going to post a link to the website, guys, so look out for that in a second. And both the restaurants are vegan because you are vegan. How long have you been a vegan?
It'll be going on 9 years.
Wow, amazing. Girl, I've been trying to be a vegetarian since I was 14, and it has not worked. I'm pescatarian now, but who knows, like Thanksgiving's coming up. I've always struggled with it. But back when I started, like literally, I remember my grandfather, all he could buy me was the burgers,
Right.
Like the vegetarian burgers. Like that was all they have. Now is so much stuff available and so many recipes out there.
Yep.
And YouTube channels to teach you how to cook it. You have your book coming out. It's like I really have no excuse, but we'll see. So we're talking self-love for September. So was you becoming vegan like a form of self-love for you?
Absolutely. That's probably the main reason I went vegan, because to me, I always say that eating well and doing the things that are good for you is like the ultimate form of self-love or self-respect. We tend to focus on things that are more external than internal, and like, those external things can be taken away. They can be damaged. They can be destroyed. But when you do things that are an internal thing, that's nobody can take that from you. And if you do it and you do it with that conviction and that love, then it shows externally as well. So people will ask you, oh my gosh, your skin looks great. Your hair looks great. You just have this glow, you have this. And so then it becomes to the point where it's like, you don't need to do all these external things that you used to do anymore or I guess the physical external things, because all of those things are happening as a result of that self-love that you gave yourself through eating and, practicing these things. So that was, the biggest push for me was me first, because there are some people who go vegan for ethical reasons more than, so mine was more personal than ethical. And like I said, that was just a way of saying, I love me enough to put the things in my body that are going to, be the best for me and make me feel the best.
One of the reasons I talked about it in previous videos, I wanted to do Self-Love September is I'm kind of been on a hiatus and like relaunching my company. And instead of having it where I used to do events and workshops in person, I'm taking everything virtual. And I picked Self-Love September to kind of start my soft relaunch, so to speak, because I've been studying like a lot of Louise Hay. I love Louise Hay. And I've been reading a lot of her books and watching a lot of her lectures. And she used to be a spiritual counselor for Center for Spiritual Living back when they were still the Religious Science Church. And she said she noticed, like, she used to try to help people with all their specific problems. And then she noticed that if people just learn to love and accept themselves, all their problems corrected on their
Mm-hmm.
own. You didn't even
Yep.
have to address them specifically. So
Right.
I've kind of been on my self-love journey through some things I've been through the past few years, which I've talked about. And so I'm still got to get the food thing down, because that's like the hardest thing for me. I talked a little bit about it last week, how I self-medicate with food.
Okay.
And it's and I kind of can look at the pathology of it through my ancestors. Like my grandmother did the same, my aunts, my mother, and I
Mm-hmm.
look at them, especially my grandmother and my aunt, whose quality of life was so poor even while they were alive,
Right.
because just the self-medicating with food and bad food and
Right.
all the illnesses that just came as a result of them just not loving themselves enough to
Right.
be able to get past that. So I'm working towards it. It's still a process, but I'm kind of feel like I'm doing it for all of us. They're no longer here. My mother lost both her sisters in their 50s. And a lot of that could have been avoided if they just, could have loved themselves enough to nourish themselves properly with what they put in their mouth.
Right.
So
Right.
it's very important. I applaud everything you're doing. I love, if you guys, I'm gonna post links to her Instagram. Her personal page and her business page have the most beautiful aesthetics of any other page on Instagram. Like,
Thank
I
you.
love seeing your posts in my feed. They're always positive. They're always beautiful and
Thank
just
you.
have a great positive energy. And I
Thank you.
just love it. So I applaud you and the work you're doing, especially close to my heart, because food is my thing. That's like the thing that I have to conquer in this lifetime, not just for me, but ancestrally as well.
Right.
So
Right.
I know you have a cookbook coming out. I pre-ordered mine. I'm so excited to get it, because all the food that you post, like when I tell y'all, Whitney is goals. Like, her food goals, her Instagram post goals, her plant goals, because I kill all the plants in my house, and she will post from Instagram and you see all these beautiful plants in the background.
Thank you.
Tattoo goals. When I post her Instagram, guys, you have got to go see the back tattoo that she just had finished. She's
Ooh.
literally a living work of art. It is so beautiful. I can't wait for you guys to see it. So yeah, she's body goals, because she's always in the gym getting it in. And it's so funny because I used to be an athlete too. Girl, you can't sell now. But I'm getting back. I started running again.
Okay.
I had some health issues, so I couldn't do cardio for a few years.
Right.
My doctor just cleared me back to cardio, so I'm trying to like go hard and get off all this excess I put on. So that's kind of a form of self-love for me, just making sure I get up every day, even when I don't feel like it. And even if I'm not running, doing yoga, meditating, something just to keep myself in a good space.
Right.
And make
Right.
sure that, my limbs and muscles and everything are being stretched and stay flexible and all of that good stuff. So that's self-love for me. So other than being vegan or just eating better and make sure you're nourishing your body with the food that you eat, what other tips do you have for anybody that's struggling with self-love or trying to get to a place to better love themselves?
I will say though, some people think that they can do it on their own out the gate. And sometimes you just, sometimes you don't have enough practice quite yet to create those habits. So then you need to either have a tribe or a group or a person that you can reach out to. Because we say goals and we say, oh my God, this person's goals. Okay. So, let's say for instance, you found a person that's kind of in line with a lifestyle that you're trying to, live or start to take a journey with. So then, revert or review, those things that person does. And then, try to incorporate a little bit of those things into your lifestyle bit by bit. So luckily I have an amazing tribe of women here that I'm able to, link up with and bounce ideas off of. And if we're and most of us are entrepreneurs as well. So that helps that we have like minds. So like if one of us is having one of those entrepreneurial woes or one of those, kind of down days, we're there to kind of pick each other up. And really we hang and we chill and we have like very lax, just regular days. But at the end of the day, we're always able to pour into the other and take something from each other. an idea, an inspiration. Oh my God, I didn't think of that. Or I see, my friend over here doing something amazing. So then that makes me want to go home and do something amazing, or vice versa. So sometimes people think that they can do it all on their own. And sometimes you do need that help, and you need that jump start, or that person to push you. They may be a couple steps ahead of where you want to be. So they're going to be there to kind of either bring you to where they are or push you to where they are. However it is, it could be tough love. It could be, very subtle, unconscious motivation. And I let people know too. That's why I do love social media. People always kind of have this, they kind of beat up or give social media this negative, stereotype or connotation. And it's really not the case. That's the beauty of social media. They allow you to pick who you want to follow.
Exactly.
They don't choose the people for you. So if something or someone is not motivating you or inspiring you or pushing you or giving you some type of idea, oh wow, I was doing that, but just not that way, then that's not the page that you want to follow. And you can just as easily unfollow or don't visit that page. So
right.
The great thing about social media is if you're unable to find that tribe right away that's going to push you or motivate you, try to find one, a virtual tribe, so to speak,
right.
a group of women or a page in general that's going to keep you motivated and push you and say, dang, okay, look at how they're doing it. I'm going to try to get on that myself and do that. So that's one thing that people kind of overlook is the help of another person or a group of people. And then also, like I said, people are always curious about how I'm able to, I think I just touched on this on an Insta story about how I'm able to make so many things happen in such a small, short 24 hours. And it's I do squeeze a lot in a day, but the thing is, I find the joy in everything. So, I talked to a friend of mine. She's not the biggest ongoing grocery shopping, but she knows that she wants to live a healthier lifestyle. And so I tell people, you're going to have to, there's no other way around it. You got to go to the grocery store. So it's just like with anything. The moment you make your mind up that, hey, it has to be done, like work. I mean, we have to create some form of income to sustain ourselves. So
and now they have delivery services where you can literally order them. Right. I just got an email from Amazon Prime. They're now doing Prime delivery for Whole Foods. So I'm like, oh, I'm happy I can get rid of my Instacart membership.
And that's what I'm saying. They got Thrive. They got Thrive Market. I don't know if you've seen Thrive Market.
Yeah.
They got Market. So like I said, and there's so many outlets and things now, like you were talking about how at one point your granddad was only able to get you the burgers. Well, when I started, it was none of the stuff. Like everything had to be made from like scratch, or like I had to create all this stuff. So I tell people that the moment you decide to enjoy any part of the process, the easier it's going to be. So I know I have to go to the farmer's market to get this food, right? Not everything I need is going to show up to my door. So I have to go get it. So I'm just finding the joy in the fact that I am able to get into the car and go to the store and pick up all these amazing life-giving food and bring it back to the house and kind of go from there. So I kind of that's a form of self-love for me, because I get to take time out of my busy schedule to do something that's going to be for me and better me.
Right.
So, I find self-love in going to the gym, because that's also, there's like a cause and effect,
Right. I go look at your end goal in mind.
Yeah, exactly. I go to the gym, I look and I feel better. I go to this farmer's market and get this food that's going to help me continue to look and feel better. So people kind of tend to not enjoy the process like they should. And the process is not going anywhere. It's just not. It's going to always be there. So the minute you just figure out, there's something there has to be one part of that process that you enjoy. I'm not saying unrealistically, like you're not going to enjoy the whole thing, but just enjoy something. And then it becomes a routine or a thing that you want to do then, because you're looking at it from a different perspective. It's no longer what I have to do. It's what I want to do. And then everything kind of just, stacks.
Falls into place.
Yeah, it just stacks from there. Yeah.
For me, every Tuesday I go pick up my mother and we go to the farmer's market, like during the season that is open. Actually, this Tuesday is the last Tuesday before they close.
Oh, that's right.
For me, it's like bonding time with my mom.
Yes.
Me and her by ourselves. And it's like Easter market. They do a thing where they'll have a little one in the hood by where she lives. So we don't even have to go way downtown to the really crowded market.
Right.
One that's like literally 2 minutes from our house and still get everything we need. And
Right.
so it's bonding time for me and my mom. So I look at it that way. So even on a day where I'm like this past week it was raining and I'm like, do I feel like going? You're gonna put it inside. And I'm like, yeah, but I haven't seen mom. So that for me is like my bonding time with my mother. So that makes it enjoyable.
Right. And that's how you gotta look at it. It's like, I was telling somebody, it sounds very cliche, but there are people who they don't even have farmers markets in some places.
Right.
Like where I was from in Virginia, we had like a bunch of flea markets, but we really didn't even have any farmers markets.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I got, I left home and I started venturing out and getting this whole like appreciation and love for food, I was coming up on all these farmers markets. I'm like, oh my God, like look at all this fresh stuff like that, you see on TV or you read about and, you don't get a chance to try it. But here it is, and I get to take it and grab it and however much I want, take it, little things like that. Like, there are people that don't even have the access to some of these farmers markets. We think because we're in major cities, we forget that there are people that are in these little teeny corners of towns. Yeah. That I think I went to one place, they didn't even have a grocery store really. You had to go to the corner store.
Yeah.
And trash. I'm like, oh my God.
Because what kind of food are you going to get at the corner store? Nothing nutritious.
Nothing. Well, they call them food deserts. Really. Yeah. That's what they're called. And I get so wrapped up in like where I'm at and that it's a major city and we have access to all this stuff. There are people that still just do not have these options. Mm-hmm. So when I'm posting this stuff, they're like, what's that? And I'm like, oh, it's just, it's just a purple potato. And they're like, what the heck? A purple potato? And I'm like, there are some people that just don't see that stuff because they don't have it. So I find the joy in knowing that I'm in a place that if I need or want something, I absolutely have the resources to get
access. Yeah. Access is everything.
Yes, it is.
And I'm glad it's so easy now to get stuff online or order it through apps on your phone because that just makes it even more accessible.
Right.
So, yeah, you really have no excuse.
No.
I know I don't.
And then that's the reason why I wanted to create the book as well, because it breaks my heart that people think that, there's nothing really to eat when you're vegan. Or it's not even that there's nothing to eat. It's the, I guess, the absence of eating. Like, God.
Or the stereotype that you just eat lettuce.
Right.
Because a few times when I've been vegetarian in the past, I remember I go on dates or whatever. They think I can't order anything but a salad with nothing on it. And I'm like, well, no, actually, I can get this. And it's like, you learn to navigate. And,
especially in a restaurant. You will definitely learn to chop and screw somebody's menu and make your own. But I tell people it's not what I can't have. It's all these things that I now absolutely can have. So that was the whole point. Like I was just cooking just for me. And I just I have this this relationship with food that I not only like that it to taste good, but I'm like, I want it to look good too. And so people were like,
man, looks delicious all the time. I was like, I wish we lived closer. I would be right over there.
Thank you, girl. And I would absolutely let you because I'm so sad. I was telling my mom, I cook all this food and nobody really I have a handful of friends, but you should just see the dishware that I have. I'm like, Whitney, why do you keep bringing in dishes here? And you're not entertaining whatsoever. So I made that actually a goal of mine to start entertaining more. Mm-hmm. And then basically what it would be too also is just what my goal is with anything is to provide people with options and knowledge, because it's once you know, what they say now, I guess once you know better, you do better, basically. Mm-hmm. So it's people can, now go out and about and order things that they weren't necessarily going to order before, or cook things that they weren't going to order or cook before. And now they're going to be like, dang, I get to eat this. So people are always like, you actually make vegan look good, or you make it look like it's easy, or you make it look like it's a thing that I want to do. So that's why I always make the food look just not only for my own little kind of aesthetics, but I'm literally trying to prove to people and show people that I absolutely can have just as much food.
Delicious food.
Tastes good, it looks good. And it's just kind of basically trying to reach, especially our community, Black people.
Yeah, because we're so set on the soul food stuff.
Sure.
I think back when I was vegetarian in my early 20s, I I really started experimenting, like as far as cooking, and it made me very creative cooking wise, like because instead of all those like things I might have grew up with, the spaghetti or the fried chicken or those certain dishes, like you really kind of get to try different things and experiment with different things, and it really makes it fun. It makes it
right. That's the cool thing about it. I tell people, don't be so hung up on like, they come out and they go, well, can you, even though I do still send or want people to have recipes, but I tell people the easiest way to do this is think about the food you like right now and just make it vegan. That's the easiest thing you can do to start out. And then your creativity will kind of flow from there. But I tell people like, you know, we no longer have to eat like how we did. That was
we're not slaves anymore.
That's exactly what I told my, that was a slave diet we were brought up on. It was the leftovers, the things that people didn't want. We made things shake with the little bit we had. And I'm like, now we have every option provided and available to us. And you do not have to eat that anymore. You don't have to eat it that way. So I always tell people, you don't have to be vegan, but then you don't always have to deep fry everything either. There's another. I mean,
part of it is kind of psychological too. Like you think of the slave family and how they couldn't do much to comfort each other, but that food they made in love, even though it was the scraps, even though it was the part that was too good to feed Master's family. You know, they put all their love and their heart and their soul into it. And that's what makes it so comforting for us even today, like if we were raised in it. But you can make a lot of those dishes healthier. Even if you don't go full vegan, you can still cut out a lot of the bad substances, and especially like with the sugar and the carbs. And so many of us have diabetes in our community and things like that. So you could still do a lot to make it healthier, even if you don't go full vegan or whatever. But you just got to get creative with it.
And we think that's, and like you said, that's my grandma used to cook every Sunday. Table probably, I mean, the table's huge. And you could barely put your plate on it because that's how much food she had on. That's actually why, even as a young kid, I wasn't really crazy about soul food like everybody else was, because I'd had it so much. And I couldn't take it anymore. I was like, it kind of pushed me to go and look for other things because I was like, there has got to be more than this, right? So
I never got sick of it, even though we did it every week.
I just, it was just me, like my taste buds, just because I know it's just something like, for instance, there are some categories of food or a dish I could eat all day, every day. But it just, for whatever reason, my body was like, okay, we've had enough. So, and again, I knew that was my grandma's way of showing self-love or her
love for her family.
Form of love for her family, right? And it was also, like I said, it was also like a form of self-love for her, because she was like, you know, I want to share my love with my family. And so we have to understand that, you know, there's other ways to show that love in a healthier form. Like, because I think our culture and our society now, we're unlearning a lot of things too. That's a part of being an adult, is unlearning things we were taught. And I love how now we're kind of shifting in this form or this movement to accept self-love in a healthier way, you know, like creating boundaries. That's a form of self-love for me, creating boundaries, because I am very accessible to a lot of people, and I have always been. But when I started taking on all these different roles and wearing all these hats, I was coming home extremely drained. Even if it was a day where I wasn't doing like too much physical work, I'd come home and I'm like, why am I so tired? You know, why am I so mentally tired? Then I started kind of becoming a little bit of an introvert too, because people would pull on me in so many ways and would need so many things. I didn't have anything left for me to wake up and do or work with the next day. So a big form of self-love for me this year was creating boundaries. Because like I said, once I started branching out and doing things on my own, you become a healer in all kinds of different ways. It doesn't matter if it's food or mental, emotional, like we all have these different forms of healing. So people are like, oh, I need more. Hey, what can you do for me? Or hey, Whitney, can you help me with this? Can you help me with that? So if we don't create boundaries, you know, then we aren't able to do anything for ourselves to continue to, you know, keep going. So that was a form of self-love for me, major this year. Was like, I love me enough to say no
Yeah.
or not today. I love you, but not today. I have to tell my mother that quite often. Mom, I love you, but we're not going to talk about this today, because she helps me out with my business a lot. But sometimes her love's a little overbearing. So sometimes she'll just out the gate start acting
She's
like
still a mother, but in the business instead of
yes. attacking.
So
she'll call me at like 11 o'clock at night, and she'll want to talk about the day or business or numbers. And I'm like, hey, Mom, we've shut down at 8 o'clock. And I'm going to enjoy being a normal person and do the things that I like to do. So that was
good for you.
Thank you, girl. That was major, because this was a big thing. I never really had to create such strict boundaries, but as I got more, or as I started kind of walking in my light, as I call it, a little bit more, people are drawn to that. Just like, you know, I'm off to a flame. They're like, oh, wow, that looks good. Hey, can you help me? Hey, what can you give me? Can I have this? Can I have that? And then it just gets to the point where, you'll literally be so burnt out that you won't even have anything for yourself.
And I know a lot of women that struggle with that too. That was never my issue. I never had a problem saying no. I had other issues I struggle with, but I think part of it is I'm the oldest of a bunch. Like I have 4 sisters, 1 brother, and so you know how it is when you grow up in a Black family. You always gotta look out for your younger siblings, take care. So I can always say no. I had no problem with that, but I had other struggles. But I have a lot of female friends that struggle with saying no to people they love. And I'm like, you can do it lovingly. How many times do y'all call me to do something, go somewhere, and I'm like, no. And they're like, why? I was like, because I don't want to.
I don't want to.
Like, I don't owe you an explanation, or I just don't want to. And they know that about me, and they still love me.
Yes.
So and people would love you the same.
You've set the precedent. You've set that precedent. And that's what I was going to say. If you don't set that precedent, then people will feel like they can continue to ask you, and that they just, or they can keep pushing. And that's the thing that kind of breaks my heart about, when you just talked about women in general. We're so used to carrying our burden so gracefully and putting the whole family on our back and being a matriarch. And so we're the mother to
everybody else.
Girl.
Yourself,
girl. We're the mom, the dad, sometimes the therapist, the nurse, the healer, the cook, the chef, the maid, everything. So it's like to the point where I tell people, you don't create those boundaries now and learn to form those habits, then you're going to look up. You're going to be, going 40, 50 years old, and you're going to be run down. You're going to be so burnt out and run down. And, it's going to be I don't know. It's just, there's no joy in that. And I see it in so many women. Like my brother's wife, my sister-in-law, she pours so much into the family and the kids. It's like I look at Christian, I'm like, well, Christian, what have you done for you? So when we meet her, or we go up there to meet and hang out with all of them, me and my mom make it a point to take her out and get her nails done, or go get her some outfits, and it's to that point where like she really wasn't groomed to create those boundaries. So then you throw kids in the equation now, and then
and your life is like completely about them. I see with a lot of women too who don't say no or speak their truth or set boundaries, they become resentful of the people around them, that they feel like, well, I always do this for them. But at the same time, you have to take responsibility too, because if you've never told them no, why would they know that you need rest or this and that if you're always saying yes? Like I have a friend, she's a little older than me, so she's like 42. I talked to her the other day, and I think it was her sister had wanted her to do something, and so she agreed, but she didn't want to, so she made up a lie to get out of it. And I'm like, girl, you are 40 years old. Why are you lying? Just tell me you don't want to do it. She's like, well, I don't want her to be mad at me. I'm like, so you rather lie at 40? Like, I'm like, just speak your truth. If you can't do it, you can't do it. And I'm like, and if she really loves you, she will understand. She might be mad. She'll get over it.
And I was about to say, even if she's mad, you can be mad from over there. You let me know when you're ready to meet me back over here. I'll be here waiting for you. But that's the thing. Like, I don't have the energy to create a whole backstory as to why I don't want to do something. Here's this. I just don't want to do it. And again, if you respect and love me, you will roll with that. And I tell people, if somebody can't rock or get along with your boundaries,
then that person is a person that you don't need to be with or around. It may be for good or maybe at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So they start to realize how this new thing is going to work. And so I don't know. I just wish, and I feel like I said, as overall from the people and the things that I follow that are like-minded on social media, I feel like we're getting to this new wave of self-love. I think women are getting it now.
Yeah.
We're getting
Absolutely.
it. We're like, not today.
Mm-hmm.
You will help me do these things.
Mm-hmm.
I will not carry this all on my own. And I don't have to, I just don't have to. Like, I just don't want to. It's just that simple.
I use people who don't know me or are new to me, they get I don't owe you an explanation. It's not a debate. I just don't want to do it.
Yeah.
And that's that.
That's what you could do with all that energy. By the time I get to explaining to you the who, what's, and whens, and like you said, your homegirl over here having to create a whole story, I could take that energy and just go ahead and shift that somewhere else. I don't have to put it into this story, because there's the thing, then when you start and you have to tell a lie about that, now you got to tell another lie about something else, and then you got to keep that lie going.
And then you got to remember your lies. I can barely remember my life. Like, I'm doing a lot right now.
You see what I'm saying? I can't. Yeah, that's my thing. Actually having, that was my biggest, like I said, form of self-love this year, was creating those boundaries, sticking to those boundaries, and having days set aside to do whatever I want, whether that be nothing, whether that be cooking, whether that go and go to the store, walk the dogs, whatever, but I will have my me time. And because of just how I work, because I've always struggled with, I didn't know it earlier in my years, but as you get older, you start to learn these things. Because, Black people, we don't talk about these things a lot. We don't talk about mental illnesses or mental health or anything like that. Like, I struggle, me actually and my best friend, that's why we get to bounce off of each other. We're the poster children for high functioning anxiety. Mm-hmm. So that's sometimes why I can get so much stuff done, because my anxiety is like, okay, check that off the list, check that off the list, do that. Well, I had to start creating a regimen for myself to keep me from
crashing,
crashing and burning. And so, like I said, that whole form of self-love where I create boundaries and set and keep those boundaries, that's what keeps me level. That's what keeps me able to keep going in the morning and not crashing. And I tell people, the minute you form that regimen of self-love, everything around you will follow suit. You don't have to force anything. It'll work for the best, or how it's supposed to.
Everything works itself out.
Yeah, it does, because it has no choice. It's like, here's the energy I'm putting out. I'm going to attract the energy that's like-minded. And that's really how it's just, we tend to make things harder than what it has to be as people. So
always.
I don't, but like I said, I have so much faith now, because I don't even care about men right now. I'm just gonna keep it 100. We as women are getting it. We are getting it. We are getting self-love in so many ways. Girl, I'm talking about by the products we're using. We're like, is that good for me? Yeah. Okay. My mama used that to do what she did, but I don't have to use that. I want to use a better product, or I want to eat a better.
Your mom didn't know, but we know now, or have access. Like with the internet, you literally have information at your fingertips. So, and there's so much more information available because of that. Like, I'm researching stuff. I look at ingredients all the time. When I was younger, you never knew. You just take what your parents give you, or your grandparents, or whoever, and you use it. But now, but now we're kind of taking our own health into our hands, because we realize the medical industry really isn't working. Like, we're still dying, we're still sick, people are taking their own lives into their hands, and I'm here for all of it. I love seeing women do wonderful things. That's why I love watching you and your whole process through the last couple years with Karma Nutra is so inspiring to me.
Thank you,
and just knowing you from when you were in college, I'm just so proud of you.
I know,
I'm so proud of you.
College, and that's just it. It's like I made up my mind to just love myself unapologetically, and I'm like, when you do that, the people who really rock with you will be there and will appreciate that process and help however they can. And the ones that don't, you don't have to get it. That's fine. You don't have to understand why I'm the age I am and I ain't married and I ain't got no kids and I don't have to. You don't have to understand that. That's not for you. If you really rock with me, you will understand. It's crazy that, we as women, so I said we get wrong. As soon as we come out of the womb, there's all these expectations and stereotypes that are set forth on us. And I'm like, no, this is how I'm gonna maneuver. It's the way I love myself. And if you really feel that, great. If you don't, that's also great. But just go appreciate that.
What it is.
Right. So I don't know. I really do love this evolution of Black women showing that self-love and being unapologetic. They are wearing what they want to wear, resting and doing what they want to do with their hair and doing stuff they want to do with their bodies and
traveling the world by themselves. If they don't have anybody to go with, they're traveling by themselves. I live for all of it. I hope that's me soon.
There's a girl from Detroit that I love to follow with the traveling. I think it's Catch Me If You Can.
Oh, I'm gonna look it up.
Catch Me If You Can. She is from Detroit, and she is literally right now on track to be the first woman to travel every country.
Wow.
Yeah, and she's a Black woman, and I'm just here with my popcorn. Like,
I love all of it.
Do it. So, I mean,
to just talk really quick, reminded me of Brené Brown has an interview with Oprah where Oprah's talking about something similar. And Oprah tells her that you can't live a truly brave life without disappointing some people.
Hey.
And that's okay, because the people who are really rooting for your rise will not be disappointed.
They sure won't.
And I love that. And I saw it a couple years ago, and I still remember that because it was so powerful to me. Yep. Say no, it's fine.
It sure is.
People will, they'll get over it.
They'll adjust.
They'll adjust.
Yeah, and that's just it. They'll adjust. And so, that's really what it is, especially when you've had that piece taken or you've had somebody make you compromise your self-love to where you were like, whoa, wait, what am I doing? We've all had that. I don't care who you are. If you made it past a certain age, you've had somebody test your form of self-love to where you got to check yourself like, well, wait a minute, this is not what I do, and this is not who I am. So we're going to stop right now. So I tell people, those are the ones that usually live life the loudest, because you know what it's like to have that piece taken and what it's like to feel, or not feel self-love.
Right.
So when you gain that back and you get your power back, you will do whatever you can before anybody ever disrupts that. And so, like I said, if that means that I have to be a single dog mom, then that is what that will be. But again, it's for me, and I, like I said, I think by me living my life the way I want to, and I'm living it loudly for people to see, it attracts those like-minded, and it'll actually push away the people who are not really there for you. They'll be so comfortable by how you live your life. By it. Yeah. They don't even want to be around. They can't join the conversation. They have nothing to add. They don't know what to do with you. So they'll actually either weed themselves out or they'll avoid you altogether. So that's the beauty of living your life in that form.
Living your truth.
Right. Girl, it'll literally repel anything that's not for you. So that's
amen.
Girl, yeah. So that's
really quick too, I want to ask you, because I know Karma Nutra is it almost 3 years old now? 4 years old. So, and you kind of were in corporate America when you started it?
7 years.
So, and then you kind of left it and went into this full time. Did you have self-doubt to do that? And if so, how did you work to overcome that?
It's actually
funny. Did you just kind of know?
I didn't. Yeah, I just kind of knew. But I've had self-doubt, but it's crazy because I didn't have self-doubt from the beginning, like most people. My parents have owned their own company for a very long time, so I saw what that financial and kind of entrepreneurial freedom looked like, and I always knew I wanted it. So the self-doubt comes in waves.
Right.
Not everything is always, peachy keen, especially not in the beginning. So my self-doubt would just do like a roller coaster. I'd be like, oh my God, I'm doing it. Yes, this looks really good. And then I'm like, oh, what the hell? I'm like, what did I do? And I'm like, is this going to work? And then, so basically they say the difference between people who make it and the people who don't is the people who made it just decided to keep going. It's really that simple. Really that simple. So I said, you know what? This is what I want to do. There is no plan B. I only got plan A. It's just got to work. When you pump that kind of love and that kind of like conviction into something, it may not work out exactly how you plan, but it will work out.
Right.
for the better. So, and then I've had an amazing support system. Like I said, I have a group of people that are entrepreneurs that are around me. So if I ever need something or something, you know, I don't have to really go to any outside sources for anything at all, whether it be print, marketing, digital, you know, I mean, anything that's ever been a part of my brand, I've got a friend or a person or an associate that I know that does it. So that's why it helps to be around those like-minded individuals. But the doubt it comes in waves, and even at 4 years, it still comes. And I'm just like, damn, is this idea of mine gonna work, or is it gonna, you know, backfire on me? So you'll have it in the beginning, you'll have it in the middle, you'll have it at the end. It's just, you got to kind of silence it and just keep going forward.
Do it anyway.
Do it anyway. Yep. Feel the fear and do it anyway.
Yes. I know mine came up. I knew for a few years I wanted to move the company virtual. I had some health issues, personal issues. And then I think a lot of it for me, like self-doubt, I was like, oh, but I used to do all this stuff about healthy living, and now I've gained all this weight. What are people going to like, what's she talking about living healthy? And, you know, stuff like that. And little stuff like I didn't even realize was bothering me. Like I had braces years ago, perfect teeth. Stop wearing my retainer, they're back crooked now. I got to get them on again. And I'm like, do I want to be on video with my teeth like this? Little things women think of, and I'm like, you know what? I'm about to get on video, because otherwise I'm going to just keep talking myself out it. So I think I weighed myself yesterday, and I was like, I almost had a heart attack. I was like 222 pounds. Yes, I'm tall, so you can't tell as much, but still I tell because I feel it. And then I took like my before pictures again yesterday, and that was like kind of hard, because it's like you don't really even know how far you got until you really look at yourself like, wow. So I deal with it too, like in waves. Most of the time I'm okay. I'm like, it is what it is. Not only was I sick, but then I also make bad choices. Like the other day, like I've been doing really good for a few weeks. The other day I got stressed out, and I went and bought mashed potatoes and gravy. Like, I still have to work on my self-medicating with food thing, but it's a process, and it's just ongoing. And I'm like, I'm not going to beat myself up about it. It's done. Here we go again. And just got to keep it moving.
But I'll tell you though, like, you know, you that's actually healthy in your process though, to have like a moment where you're like, yeah, this is what I want, and I'm just going to enjoy it. I tell people all the time, it's okay to indulge and enjoy those things. It's always just like I tell people in moments or issues that you may have, it's okay to feel a certain way. Just don't live in that moment, you know?
Right. And I don't mind indulging. Every now and then you want what you want, but I'm really trying to be conscious and just more aware of when I eat because of emotion. Right.
There you go. It's like when it's triggered.
Yes. And I knew I had a bad day. I was upset. I was getting ready to cry. And the first thing I did was, I'm going to go get this to eat. and so, but that's kind of how I grew up. That's how we were raised. My grandparents' house on Outer Drive, we had church every Sunday. Then we had big Sunday brunch afterwards, Sunday dinner. My whole family kind of self-medicates with food. And like, I grew up with soul food and I love it too, but my family has a very wide palate. So we ate a lot of Middle Eastern food because, of course, here in Detroit, we got the biggest Middle Eastern population outside of the Middle East.
Right.
I grew up eating a lot of Indian food. My aunt, who was an artist and very artsy, she always ate like Indian food and couscous and all those different things. I learned from her. And then I would have just all kinds of food.
Right.
I love Jamaican food. I love Caribbean food and African food. It's a Nigerian restaurant I go to now. I'll be trying to stay away from the meat and just eat like the fish and rice dishes. But it's still, we grew up with it. And it wasn't even until a few years ago, I was planning an event for a girlfriend gathering to my company. And I had this Indian lady fly in who was teaching us Psyche. Really nice lady. And I saw them going together, like getting all this, trying to order all this. She's like, why are you buying food? Like, we're not here for food. We don't need food. And I'm like, it kind of it made me aware of the fact that I kind of grew up feeling like every time we get together, we have to eat.
Food has to be involved. Yep.
Food has to be involved. And I've really been like aware that the past couple of years, like sometimes we could just chill. We don't have to eat every time we get together with my family or my friends. Like we do still a lot of the time because sometimes it's out of my control.
Right.
You don't have to do that. Like it's not like it's just kind of how you were raised, so it's in you. But she was looking at me like I was crazy. Like, why are you getting food? I'm like, because all of us are gathering together here. Like, she's like, we're not here for food. We'll go to lunch. Like, and she just looked at me so confused, and it really made me like, wow. I always get food when I get together with people because that's what I've always done because that's what I was taught.
And it's not just you. Yeah, it's not just you. We center our emotions around food. And it can be a good thing once you learn, like you said, okay, when do I do this? All right, how do I combat it and how do I kind of rechannel it? Like, so there's days when I'm like really bummed out or I have like a bad day. I go to the gym. I say, all right, you know what? I really do want, because food is also my go-to. Like when I'm happy, I want to eat. When I'm sad, I want to eat. But then I started retraining my mind to say, okay, I can better deal with these emotions if I have another outlet. And so the gym, if I just go to the gym, not even just when I'm upset or sad or whatever, but just every day, those emotions kind of dissipate a little bit and I'm able to think a lot more clearer. Like, okay, Whitney, are you hungry or do you really just want something to make you feel better because of how you were feeling? Right. So
that's how my brother is. And I'm trying to get more like him. Because like I think it was a month or two ago, we were together and he got so mad about something. He's like, and I'm like, he's like, yeah, I'm going to work out like that. And that's what he does. Like we grew up in martial arts and then he stayed with it. He does jujitsu, capoeira, a bunch of other stuff. He's a fireman, so he runs like 4 or 5 miles a day. So that's his outlet. I'm like, I need that to be my outlet and not going in the kitchen trying to see what I can throw together because I'm all emotional and trying to fill some void or something. So I'm trying to get there.
It's and it takes time, like you said. It's just a thing you have to do, right? You just got to do it. And then when you get a hold of it and you not only start to see the results, but feel them, then it becomes this thing you have to do. So like when I'm not at the gym and I'm not able to go like for, maybe a couple days consecutively, I feel it and it affects my mood. And so I tell people the gym or working out, that's one of the most underutilized forms of therapy. That is an actual form.
Especially for our community.
Yes, because you feel like $1 million. You feel like $1 million. We tend to only want to go when we're going on a trip or when it's summertime, we trying to show out. Actually, the best time to start really working out is in the winter time. It kind of combats that whole, the seasonal depression. And then, then too, like if you already go ahead and start in the winter time when things are, a little bit on the downward, meaning like you don't really go out as much. You don't, not as many things going on. By the time the summertime get here, you're going to look exactly how you wanted to when you was trying.
You don't even have to think about it.
Right.
Exactly.
They say that, it's cliche too, but they say the summer bodies are made in the winter. So I tell people just start going and just make it a thing that you do. And I tell people sometimes you got to fake it till you make it. Yeah. There's some things that I did not want to do, but I kept doing it. And then it became this thing that I then started to appreciate. And then I started seeing the results. And then it became a thing that I wanted to do. So I'm like, someday you just ain't gonna want to go, but you just got to go and then just keep at it. And it becomes a thing that's a part of your ritual. So that's like something.
I've always noticed that on the days where, for me, like if I work out and if I hit the gym in the morning before work, I have more energy through the whole day. And you think that alone would make me get up and go every morning. But yeah, it doesn't.
They say it takes 14 days for something to become a habit. So, but we tend to kind of stop before we get to the 14 days. That's the problem.
Yeah, you got to do the consecutive day to change the whole neuroplasticity of the brain. So it's really set in there. And most people miss a day here and missing day. Every time you miss a day, it starts over.
That's it. And I tell people, I say, you wouldn't have to start over if you just keep going.
Yeah.
You in there doing 10, 15 minutes, just go, because then it becomes a habit. Then it becomes a thing that you have to or you want to do. So that's like I said, that's just kind of how self-love is in general. Like you just keep doing that thing because we know what's best for us. It's just a matter of making ourselves do it. So when you make up in your mind, you want to do it when you don't want to do it so that later down the road, it's like second nature. It's like you don't even have
to. It's like getting up and brushing your teeth.
Yeah. In the morning, I crave the gym. I crave it. I get all excited in the morning. Like, oh yeah, I gotta go to the gym in the morning. Yeah, yeah, especially the weekends because
that's goals for me.
Girl, look, the weekends be the best. I don't have to do anything.
You got more time.
The real people, like the people that ain't just in there playing around, they not there because they out and about. So I got the gym to do more things that I would normally not be able to do during the weekday. So it's just a thing that, and again, it's if you got to get with a group or if you just got to keep monitoring or watching somebody else or buy or get one of those plans that you can follow. I tell people, however you got to do it, just do it. And I mean, there's so many forms, like I said, of self-love in that regard, but even with self-love in general, it's not going to be a thing you want to do all the time.
I've been reading the 5-second rule by Mel Robbins, and that's really, really helpful because she talks about how when she was going through depression, because her and her husband, one of their businesses was failing and they had credits come out of stuff. She discovered the 5-second rule, which is she just counts down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and forces herself to do whatever it is that she doesn't feel like doing. Right. And it's been helpful. I did it the past few mornings. And I'm like, oh, this really works. And it's like the stupidest thing you think of, but whatever little tricks or whatever you need to push yourself.
Just do it. I tell people, do it. Like that whole saying, fake it till you make it is what got me through so many things. I'm like, this is what you have to do. So just do it. And even if it's not something you want to do, kind of mimic or fake the emotions that you want to do it, even though you don't. And the next thing you do, it's like your mind is like, oh, okay, all right, you've been doing this for a week and a half. Oh, okay, we want to do this. And you just got to stick with it. So, I mean, I just hope
just focus on that end goal might be enough to help push you to do whatever it is. Don't think about the process. Think about the result.
The end result. And that's what I'm trying to do every day that I post and do social media is just to show people that we can do it. You just make up in your mind that you want to and do it. And this is how it looks when you do it. I want to show you how great you can feel, how good things can be or look or, so hopefully, through some form of my social media, somebody feels like they can do it, that they're not alone, that, like you said, hopefully this is a form of self-love that I'm expressing through my social media that's reaching somebody.
Oh, it's beautiful. Her social media is beautiful, guys. Her Instagram I'm referring to specifically. So you'll love all her posts. Her stories, trust me, you'll love it all.
I appreciate it, girl.
I'm going to post the links for all of that in the video. I'm also going to post the link to your website. So anybody in the Atlanta location area or anybody heading to the Atlantic area can check it out. And then I'm also going to post the link to the book, which is still available for pre-order, which is coming out later in October, right?
Yes. And then I'll be doing a volume 2, which is all fall comfort foods. And it's going to be like, volume 2 is going to be split because I'm going to give you guys an entire Thanksgiving.
Yay!
Entire Thanksgiving vegan plant feast. You will have it. So that way when you go in that kitchen, you already got your own arsenal of weapons and you ain't got to be tempted by grandma's nothing. All right. You got your own version of the sweet potato pie and the mac and cheese and the greens. We're going to give you that. Awesome. Yeah, we're going to give you that little Southern Thanksgiving plant-based style. Yeah. So I'm going to do that because I noticed, like you said, that's when people get really hard when that Thanksgiving come around. So I'm hoping
to help. Off gluten a few years back. And I was doing really good till holiday time. It got hard. And then, so I did my first full gluten-free Thanksgiving. I was hosting Thanksgiving that year. Courtney can't have gluten either. Courtney's my sister, who she knows. So she came over. My whole family ate everything. I mean, I did all the regular stuff, right? Chicken, because we like that on Thanksgiving. My family's not big on turkey. But everything was gluten-free. Mac and cheese, everything. My family ate it, loved it. Nobody knew it was gluten-free until I told them at the end. And then my aunt was like, what do you mean it's no gluten? I need gluten in my food. Like, he's really tripping. He's like, what's gluten? I'm like, see, that's why I can't even fool.
Don't worry about it. Yeah.
So I'll be excited for a plant-based Thanksgiving. I know Courtney, my mom, they'd all be down. My brother would be looking at us sideways, but
how about this? Don't even tell him that some of the things is plant-based. That's what I love.
No, you don't have to
dive into it. it's a mental thing. When you don't even know, then it's like you have a blank canvas to start with. You don't even have a bias going into it. So I wanted to make sure that I got it out in time for enough when it's the most challenging for people.
The holiday foods.
Not only when it's cold, because you don't really go out that much, so you're in the house eating a lot. And when the holidays get here, because people are cooking more, they're bringing you food, then you cooking food. Then you, like you said, y'all meeting up, chilling in the house, people's ordering out.
And as the oldest sibling, I still cook for a family. I moved out on my own when I was 18. And I still cook. Like, I have a family. So every time I cook, my sister has to come. I made vegetarian galaba not too long ago. She had to come take half home with her. Like, I still cook too much food. I can't do like little individual meals for myself. I had to freeze in a whole bunch of stuff. So, but yeah, that would be great. I would definitely do it.
Yeah,
so I got you. I'm ready for that book. I already pre-ordered my volume 1, so I'm excited for that release. I think we got 2 more weeks.
Yep. So, and this one, the volume 1 is like pretty chill, pretty simple, because I didn't want to overload people or put anything too fancy in there. Because I want people to be able to refer back to these recipes all the time, and they be quick, and the ingredient list aren't going to like freak you out if you're unable to, because you'll be able to find all this stuff. But volume 2 is where I kind of lay it on a little bit thicker. By that time, you should have kind of started seeing some of these things a little bit more in the grocery stores, because now you're looking for them. And then you can find all this stuff. So I'm going to kind of try to keep going, and then maybe do some themes with it. So like this will be like the comfort fall food edition. Then maybe when the next year rolls around, I'll do like some lighter summer meals. So I'm going to try to keep it going as I keep creating. And that way people have things to refer back to, so they don't feel like they have to eat what they were raised or what people are giving them. They can make other decisions and options. So that's the point.
And people just experiment with it. And understand, every experiment is not going to be a dish that you like. Even when I used to experiment with regular foods, not vegetarian foods, I'd be on experimental dish number 23, just something I thought of. I'm like, that one didn't work so much. So, and that's even the meat-based stuff. So just experiment, because some you'll love, some maybe not so much, some you can tweak to like later. So just experiment.
I like that you said that, because I'm like, I told a friend, like, do you like everything that you eat that's not vegan?
No, before I used to create dishes all the time, even meat-based dishes. I didn't like every one.
Right.
The ones I did stayed in my arsenal.
And then add some stuff from there. You start tweaking and start saying, okay, well, this is the base. Now I can add this. So that's the goal, is to just make it to where people feel more comfortable in the kitchen, and they don't feel the need to have to order out all the time, or be a crappy vegan too. So I tell people, you want to stay away from a lot of the sodium high faux meats. I'm going to teach you. There's one recipe I'm going to put in there to teach you how to make your own faux meats. That way you don't have to go and be pressured into buying some of that box stuff. So
I know a lot of vegans that still eat a lot of processed food. So you have to be careful with that too, because then you're not really doing your body the service that you think you are.
That's why I use the word plant-based more instead of vegan, because you can deep fry and those sugar and salt on a bunch of vegan stuff, and that's kind of defeating the purpose. So like I said, that's what this is going to do, is help people to navigate that a little bit easier, and know that they don't have to buy it, they can make it, and then that way you know what's going in it.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining me today. Was there anything else that you wanted to say or add? Or
I think we covered it, girl, and we just kind of I like how we were just flowing and talking. So I think in that conversation, or in that flow, I think we covered on a good deal of self-love, everything in between. So I think we did good.
Maybe when you have your holiday based one coming out, we can have you back on. By then I should have done a few recipes from the first book, so I'll have you back on and we can talk about that. But thank you so much.
I want somebody to be the guinea pig and let me know how some of those recipes work from that, from somebody else's aspect, because it's one thing cooking for yourself, but another giving somebody the blueprint and seeing how they did it. So that'd be
how
great.
They did with it.
That'd be great.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much, Whitney Boyd. You can follow her on Instagram. The company is Karma Nutra. It's Nutra. And her personal page is Afrohemian. It's got like an underscore in it. So I'm posting all the links to her website, the links to pre-order her book. Thank you guys for joining us. Next week, I'm starting a new theme for October. I'm not sure what it is yet. I will let you guys know tomorrow. Self-Love September be over tomorrow. I think I want to do organized for October because I know a lot of people who need help with organization. And I don't mean just like physically and with the things around your house. That's part of it, but just a lot of different things in your life that are so much easier when you organize. So stay tuned for that. I'll let you guys know tomorrow. But thanks again.
Thank you. Bye, Bree.